The silent prototypes. The Galactic Empire was the strongest power in the galaxy. They ruled with fear and advanced technology, conquering planets without breaking a sweat. To them, Earth was nothing more than a minor backwater, a small planet filled with primitive creatures who barely had space travel. They scanned Earth once, saw its weak technology, and moved on. But Earth was hiding something. Beneath the surface of the planet, in a top-secret underground facility, scientists and engineers worked day and night. Their project was called Titan. It was a prototype spaceship, unlike anything humanity had ever built before. The ship wasn't just advanced. It was designed to protect Earth against enemies far beyond its borders. Commander Alex Carter walked into the control room of the Titan project. Alex was a calm and determined leader, chosen for this mission because of his sharp mind and unshakable courage. He had heard rumors about the project for years, but this was the first time he had seen the Titan in person. The ship was enormous, its sleek black hull glowing faintly under the dim lights of the hangar. It didn't look like any other ship Earth had built. This one was alive with advanced weapons systems that could adapt in real time, and a mysterious power core that no one outside the project understood. Dr. Elena Reyes, the lead scientist of the project, stood next to Alex. "Commander," she said, "meet the Titan. This is Earth's last hope if the Galactic Empire ever comes for us." Alex raised an eyebrow. "You think they will?" Elena nodded grimly. "It's only a matter of time. The Empire doesn't leave anyone alone. They only ignored us because they thought we were weak. But if they ever find out about Titan..." Her voice trailed off. The message was clear. If the Empire discovered the Titan, they wouldn't just attack Earth. They would destroy it. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the facility. Red lights flashed across the control room. A technician ran over to Elena, panic on his face. "Dr. Reyes, we're picking up something strange in Earth's orbit. A fleet of unknown ships just appeared. They're not ours." Elena froze. "The Empire?" The technician nodded. Alex clenched his fists. "So, they'd finally come. What's the plan?" Elena hesitated. The Titan wasn't ready. It had never been tested in real combat. The power core was unstable, and its main weapon hadn't been fired even once. Launching the Titan now could destroy the ship and everyone on board. But waiting wasn't an option. "They've sent a message," the technician said, his voice shaking. He pressed a button, and a cold, metallic voice filled the room. "People of Earth, this is the Galactic Empire. Surrender immediately, or face total annihilation." The room fell silent. The words hung in the air like a heavy weight. Everyone looked at Alex. "We don't have time to argue," Alex said firmly. "If we don't fight, we're finished." He turned to Elena. "Can the Titan launch?" Elena hesitated again. "It can, but..." "Then get it ready," Alex interrupted. "We don't have another choice." Elena sighed and gave the order. Engineers and technicians scrambled to prepare the Titan for launch. The hangar filled with noise as the ship came to life. Its engines hummed with power, and the lights on its hull flickered like a heartbeat. Alex climbed aboard the Titan with a small crew of hand-picked specialists. These were the best Earth had to offer: pilots, engineers, and tactical experts. As they strapped in, the ship's AI spoke for the first time. "Welcome, Commander Carter," it said in a smooth, emotionless voice. "Titan is now online, awaiting orders." "Take us up," Alex said. The hangar doors opened, revealing the dark expanse of space above. The Titan lifted off, its engines roaring like a beast unleashed. The crew watched nervously as Earth shrank below them. None of them knew if they would ever return. As the Titan entered orbit, the Empire's fleet came into view. Dozens of massive ships floated in formation, their weapons aimed directly at Earth. Alex's stomach tightened. This was no small invasion force. This was a fleet designed to crush an entire planet. The Empire's flagship sent another message. This time, it was directed at the Titan. Unidentified vessel, you are ordered to stand down. Your resistance is futile. Surrender now, and your planet will be spared. Alex's face hardened. He tapped the ship's communication console and replied, "This is Commander Alex Carter of the Titan. Earth doesn't surrender." The Empire didn't reply. Instead, their ships began to move. Fighters broke off from the main fleet, heading straight for the Titan. "Enemy ships incoming," one of Alex's crew shouted. The Titan's AI spoke calmly, engaging defensive systems, preparing for combat. As the first wave of enemy fighters closed in, the Titan's weapons activated. Beams of energy shot out, cutting through the darkness of space. The crew held their breath as the first enemy fighter exploded in a flash of light. Alex gripped the controls. "Let's show them what Earth can do." The battle had begun. The Empire's challenge. The Titan floated silently in Earth's orbit, its black hull blending into the endless void of space. Inside the ship, Commander Alex Carter watched the enemy fleet on the main display. The Galactic Empire's warships were vast and menacing, their angular shapes bristling with weaponry. Even with the Titan's advanced systems, the odds were staggering. "Commander, we've intercepted another transmission from the Empire," said Lieutenant Harris, the communications officer. "Let's hear it," Alex replied. The cold, mechanical voice of the Empire's commander filled the room. "Earth's defenders, you have 1 hour to surrender. Refuse, and your planet will be reduced to ash. Your so-called resistance is pathetic." The message ended abruptly, leaving a heavy silence in the control room. "They're not bluffing," said Dr. Elena Reyes, who was monitoring the ship's power core from a nearby console. "Our satellites detected their weapons charging. If they fire, Earth won't survive." Alex leaned forward, his jaw tightening. "Then we don't give them the chance. We hit them first." The crew exchanged nervous glances. The Titan was humanity's most advanced ship, but it was still untested in real combat. If they failed, Earth would be defenseless. "What's our status?" Alex asked, breaking the tension. Lieutenant Harris quickly ran through the updates. "Shields are operational at 85%. Weapon systems are fully armed, but the main energy cannon is still unstable. Dr. Rice says it's risky to use." "Define risky," Alex said, turning to Elena. She hesitated, her hands trembling slightly as she adjusted her glasses. "The energy cannon draws directly from the Titan's core. If it overheats, it could cause a catastrophic meltdown. We have a few minutes, maybe seconds, to eject the core before the ship explodes." "Understood," Alex said, his voice steady. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." Suddenly, the ship's eye spoke, its calm, mechanical tone cutting through the tension. "Multiple enemy fighters inbound. Estimated time to contact, 3 minutes." Alex straightened in his seat. "All stations, prepare for combat. Shields up, weapons hot." The Titan's lights dimmed as power was rerouted to the defensive systems. The hum of the ship's engines grew louder, a deep, resonating sound that filled the crew with a strange mix of fear and determination. On the display, dozens of small, agile enemy fighters broke off from the Empire's fleet and raced toward the Titan. Their formation was tight and disciplined, designed to overwhelm their target with sheer numbers. "Here they come," said Lieutenant Vega, the ship's tactical officer. Her fingers flew across her console, locking the Titan's targeting systems onto the incoming fighters. "Fire at will," Alex ordered. The Titan's exterior lit up as its automated turrets sprang to life. Streams of plasma bolts and laser beams streaked through space, cutting down the first wave of fighters. Explosions flared in the darkness, but more enemy ships kept coming, weaving through the chaos with terrifying precision. "They're testing us," Vega said, her voice tense. "This is just the vanguard. The main fleet isn't moving yet." Alex nodded. "They're underestimating us." Let's keep it that way. One of the enemy fighters broke through the Titan's defenses, its weapons blazing. The ship shuddered as the impact rocked its hull. Shields holding at 78%. Harris reported. Focus fire on the stragglers, Alex commanded. Don't let any of them get close. The Titan's AI chimed in again. Warning. Energy reserves depleted by 12%. Sustained combat may compromise core stability. Alex frowned. Dr. Rice, how much more can we take? Alina's voice crackled over the comms. We're fine for now, but if this drags on, we'll have to make a choice. Fight or retreat. Retreat isn't an option, Alex said firmly. We hold the line. As the battle raged on, something strange happened. The Empire's fighters suddenly pulled back, retreating to their fleet. The crew watched in confusion as the enemy ships regrouped. What are they doing? Vega asked, narrowing her eyes at the display. The answer came moments later. The Empire's flagship moved forward, its massive silhouette blotting out the stars. It was more than 5 times the size of the Titan, bristling with weapons and shield generators. A new transmission came through, but this time it wasn't a recording. A live hologram appeared on the Titan's bridge, showing the Empire's fleet commander. He was tall and imposing, his silver armor gleaming under the holographic light. His face was cold and emotionless, his piercing eyes scanning the crew with contempt. This is Commander Tarek of the Galactic Empire, he said, his voice low and commanding. Your defiance is admirable, but ultimately futile. Surrender now, and your planet will be spared. Resist, and you will burn alongside it. Alex stepped forward, facing the hologram with unwavering resolve. This is Commander Alex Carter of the Titan. If you think we're going to surrender, you've made a grave mistake. Tarek's expression didn't change. Then you will die screaming, as all defiant creatures do. The hologram vanished, and the Empire's flagship began charging its main weapon. The bright, glowing light appeared at the front of the ship, growing larger with each passing second. Commander, they're targeting Earth, Harris shouted. Alex's mind raced. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they still had one advantage: the Titan's untested energy cannon. Prepare the main cannon, Alex ordered. Commander, we don't even know if it works, Alina protested over the comms. We're about to find out, Alex said, his voice calm but firm. Charge the weapon. Full power. The Titan's core began to glow, its energy surging through the ship. The crew braced themselves as the countdown to the first true test of humanity's might began. First contact. The Titan's core pulsed with energy, its glow casting eerie shadows across the bridge. Commander Alex Carter stood at the center, his eyes locked on the display. The Empire's flagship loomed ahead, a monstrous silhouette framed by the cold light of distant stars. Main cannon charging. The Titan's AI announced, its voice steady and emotionless. Alex turned to Dr. Elena Reyes, whose face was pale as she monitored the energy levels. How long until we're ready to fire? 60 seconds, Elena replied. But the core is already overheating. If we push too hard. We don't have a choice, Alex interrupted. If they fire first, Earth is finished. The Empire's flagship began to glow as its main weapon charged. On the Titan's display, a countdown appeared. Target lock in 45 seconds. Commander, their weapon is aimed directly at Earth, Lieutenant Harris said, his voice tight with fear. Alex gritted his teeth. Not if we hit them first. Vega, lock onto their power core. That's our only shot. Lieutenant Vega, the tactical officer, nodded and focused her console. The targeting systems hummed as they scanned the enemy ship. I've got it, she said. Firing solution locked. Good, Alex said. Now we wait. The bridge was silent except for the hum of the ship's systems. Every second felt like an eternity as the Titan's weapon charged. Sweat dripped down Alex's forehead, but he didn't move. Enemy weapon at 80% charge, the AI reported. Come on, come on. Alex muttered under his breath. Suddenly, the display flickered. A new signal appeared. An incoming transmission from the Empire's flagship. Alex hesitated. Put it through. The hologram of Commander Tarek appeared once more, his cold eyes fixed on Alex. "Your courage is impressive," Tarek said, his tone mocking. "But courage alone will not save your planet. You are outnumbered, outgunned, and outmatched. Surrender now, and I may allow some of your people to survive." Alex's jaw tightened. "You don't know what you're dealing with." Tarek raised an eyebrow. "A single ship, an untested prototype. You think that is enough to stand against the Galactic Empire?" Alex's lips curled into a slight smile. "Let's find out." He cut the transmission. "Enemy weapon at 95% charge," the AI said. "Main cannon ready to fire," Elena called out. Alex's heart pounded as he gave the order. "Fire." The Titan shuddered as its main cannon unleashed a beam of blinding energy. The light was so intense that it briefly turned the bridge white. The beam streaked through space, a deadly lance aimed directly at the Empire's flagship. The crew held their breath as the weapon struck its target. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a massive explosion erupted from the enemy ship's side, sending debris flying in all directions. "Direct hit," Vega shouted. "Their power core is destabilizing." The Empire's flagship began to list, its weapons falling silent. On the display, the rest of the fleet hesitated, their formation breaking as they scrambled to regroup. "Status of their weapon?" Alex asked. "Offline," Harris reported. "They're pulling back." Cheers erupted on the bridge, but Alex's celebration was short-lived. "Warning," the AI said. "Core instability detected. Energy levels critical." Elena's face turned white. "The cannon overheated the core. If we don't vent the energy, we'll." The ship suddenly lurched, throwing the crew against their restraints. Sparks flew from several consoles, and alarms blared. "Core meltdown in progress," the AI said. Alex gripped his seat. "Options." Elena's fingers flew across her console. "We can vent the excess energy, but it'll shut down all non-essential systems, including weapons. We'll be sitting ducks." "Do it," Alex ordered. Elena hit a series of commands, and the Titan released a burst of energy into space. The lights flickered, and the ship's hum grew quieter. "Core stabilized," the AI announced. Alex exhaled, but the relief didn't last. Harris's voice broke the silence. "Commander, the Empire's fleet is regrouping. They're sending reinforcements." On the display, dozens of new ships emerged from hyperspace, surrounding the Titan. These ships were smaller than the flagship but faster and more agile. "They're swarming us," Vega said. "We can't fight them all." Alex stared at the screen, his mind racing. They had managed to take down the flagship, but now they were outnumbered and defenseless. "We're not finished yet," Alex said. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We'll lead them away from Earth." The Titan's engines roared to life as the ship turned and accelerated. The Empire's fighters pursued, their weapons blazing. As the battle raged, the Titan's crew noticed something strange. One of the enemy ships wasn't attacking. Instead, it was broadcasting a signal. "Commander, we're picking up an encrypted transmission," Harris said. "From who?" Alex asked. "It's not from Earth or the Empire," Harris replied. "It's coming from deep space." Alex frowned. "Put it through." The transmission crackled to life, and a distorted voice spoke. "Titan, this is Nova. I know what you're up against. I can help, but you'll need to trust me." The crew exchanged confused looks. "Who is Nova?" Alex asked. The voice replied, "Someone who knows how to turn the tide. Send me your coordinates, and I'll show you." Alex hesitated. It could be a trap, but what choice did they have? "Do it," he said finally. As the Titan continued to evade the Empire's forces, a new hope flickered in the darkness. But whether this mysterious ally was friend or foe remained to be seen. The trap revealed. The Titan sped through the void, its engines burning bright as it weaved through a storm of enemy fire. The Galactic Empire's smaller ships pursued relentlessly, their lasers slicing through the blackness. Inside the Titan, the crew scrambled to stay one step ahead. Shields down to 42%. Lieutenant Harris reported, gripping his console tightly. "We can't keep taking hits like this." Commander Alex Carter's jaw tightened. The Titan's sleek design made it fast and agile, but the sheer number of enemy ships was overwhelming. Each maneuver bought them only seconds before another barrage rained down. "Vega, where's the closest escape vector?" Alex asked, his voice steady despite the chaos. Vega, the tactical officer, scanned her console. "We're boxed in. The Empire's fleet is cutting off every route. It's like they're hurting us." Alex frowned. "Hurting us where?" Before anyone could answer, a soft chime echoed through the bridge. The encrypted transmission from Nova was back. "This is Nova," the voice said, sharper now, but calm. "You're heading straight into their trap. I can guide you out, but you need to trust me." Alex hesitated. They had no way to verify who this Nova was or if she was even on their side. "Why should we trust you?" Alex asked, his tone cautious but firm. Nova's reply came quickly. "Because I know the Empire better than anyone. And right now, they're baiting you. If you keep going, you'll fall into their ambush." Dr. Elena Reyes, monitoring the power core from her station, spoke up. "Commander, she's right. The Empire isn't just chasing us. They're controlling our movements. This isn't random." Alex made a decision. "All right, Nova, where do we go?" A new set of coordinates appeared on the Titan's display. "Follow these," Nova instructed. "But hurry. They won't keep the path open for long." "Vega, plot the course," Alex ordered. "Yes, Commander," Vega said, her fingers flying over her console. The Titan banked hard, diving through the chaos as it headed for the new coordinates. The Empire's ships followed, but their movements shifted. They no longer seemed chaotic. Instead, their pursuit tightened into a deliberate formation. "They're closing in," Harris shouted. "Nova." Alex said sharply, "Are you sure about this?" "Yes," Nova replied. "They're leading you into their kill zone, a cloaked fleet waiting just beyond your scanners. But I've opened a gap. If you keep following my coordinates, you'll slip through before they can react." The Titan's engines roared as the ship accelerated. On the main display, a faint distortion began to appear, a shimmering patch of space where the stars seemed to ripple unnaturally. "What is that?" Vega asked, her voice uneasy. Nova answered grimly, "That's their ambush. Cloaked ships waiting to surround you. But their cloaking tech has a flaw. It creates a gravitational anomaly. I used it to pinpoint their fleet." Alex's eyes narrowed. "You mean to tell me the Empire's hiding an entire fleet right in front of us?" "Exactly," Nova replied. "Now get through before they lock you in." The Titan plunged toward the anomaly, its shield sparking under the relentless assault of the pursuing fighters. As the ship closed the distance, the distortion suddenly erupted into chaos. One by one, the cloaked ships appeared, their massive forms shimmering into view. The Empire's ambush fleet was far larger than anyone had expected, hundreds of warships, each bristling with weapons. "Commander, they're everywhere," Vega shouted. Alex's mind raced. "Nova, we're surrounded." "Not yet," Nova replied. "I gave you a way out. There's a blind spot in their formation. Trust me and keep going." Alex gripped his chair. All stations, braced for impact. "We're going through." The Titan darted between the enemy ships, its engines pushed to their limit. Beams of energy and plasma bolts streaked past, some narrowly missing the hull. "Shields at 18%, Harris yelled. "One more hit and we're done." Elena's voice came over the comms. "The core's overheating again. If we push any harder, we'll lose it." "We don't stop," Alex said firmly. "Nova, where's the blind spot?" "Coming up," Nova replied. "It's a narrow gap, just wide enough for the Titan. But you'll need to trust your instincts. The Empire's AI won't predict human improvisation." Alex's hands flew over the controls. The Titan twisted and spun, narrowly dodging a barrage of fire. Ahead, a massive Imperial warship loomed, blocking their path. "Vega, prepare the plasma torpedoes," Alex ordered. "They're offline," Vega replied. "All powers routed to the engines." "Then we do it the hard way," Alex muttered. "Hold tight." The Titan angled downward, diving under the warship's belly. Explosions lit up the void as the pursuing fighters collided in the chaos. "There it is." Nova's voice cut through the tension. "The gap, 10 degrees starboard." Alex saw it, a faint opening between two massive ships. It was a tight fit, but it was their only chance. "Hold your breath," Alex said, steering the Titan toward the gap. The ship squeezed through, its hull scraping against the edge of an enemy cruiser. Sparks flew, and the entire vessel shook violently. "We're through," Vega shouted, relief flooding her voice. The Titan burst out of the enemy formation, leaving the ambush fleet behind. On the display, the Empire's ships scrambled to reorganize, their trap having failed. "Nova," Alex said, his voice still tense. "We're clear. Now tell me, who are you really?" There was a pause before Nova replied. "Someone who knows what's coming next. Meet me at the second set of coordinates I've sent you. There's something you need to see." Alex glanced at the crew, their faces pale but determined. "Looks like we're not done yet." Vega set course for Nova's location. As the Titan sped away, the Empire's fleet remained in chaos, their commanders furious. But Alex knew this was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire didn't take failure lightly, and their next move would be even more devastating. The unexpected ally. The Titan drifted through the quiet expanse of space, its hull scorched and shields barely holding. The crew moved in silence, their faces tense with exhaustion. After escaping the Empire's ambush, they knew the reprieve was temporary. The enemy would regroup and come after them with renewed fury. "Coordinates locked," Lieutenant Vega said, breaking the silence, approaching the location Nova provided. Commander Alex Carter leaned forward in his chair. "Anything on sensors?" Lieutenant Harris scanned the console. "Nothing yet. If Nova's here, she's keeping quiet." "Or it's a trap," Vega muttered, her voice laced with suspicion. Alex couldn't dismiss the possibility. Nova's guidance had saved them, but trusting a mysterious voice over encrypted comms was a dangerous gamble. Still, they had little choice. Their escape had left the Titan battered and exposed, and they needed help fast. "Commander, Dr. Elena Ray is called from the engineering console. The core is stable for now, but we can't fire the main cannon again without a full recalibration. If we're attacked, we won't make it," Alex finished grimly. "Let's hope Nova's on our side." As the Titan neared the rendezvous point, a strange structure came into view. At first glance, it looked like an asteroid, but as they drew closer, its unnatural design became clear. Metallic spires jutted out from its surface, and faint energy signatures pulsed from within. "What is that?" Harris asked, squinting at the display. The answer came over the comms. "That's my lab," Nova said. Her voice was calm, almost casual. "Dock at the marked bay. And don't mind the defenses. They won't fire unless provoked." "Defenses," Vega said sharply. "Commander, this could be a trap." Alex nodded. "Stay alert. Shields up and weapons ready, but don't fire unless I give the order." The Titan approached cautiously. As they neared the lab, small automated turrets tracked their movement, their glowing barrels a silent warning. But true to Nova's word, the defenses didn't fire. A docking bay opened, and the Titan slid inside, its hull barely fitting within the confines of the facility. "Docking complete," Harris reported. "All right," Alex said, standing. "I want a small team with me. Vega, Alina, you're coming. Harris, keep the Titan ready to launch at a moment's notice." The three exited the ship, stepping into the eerie, dimly lit docking bay. The air smelled metallic, and the walls were lined with strange machinery that hummed softly. A single figure emerged from the shadows. Nova was not what they expected. She was a tall woman with silver-streaked hair, wearing a sleek black exosuit covered in glowing circuits. Her eyes, sharp and calculating, seemed to scan them, as if cataloging every detail. "Welcome to my lab," she said, her voice as calm in person as it was over the comms. Alex studied her carefully. "You've been helping us, but we still don't know why. Who are you, and what do you want?" Nova smirked faintly, straight to the point. "I like that. My name is Nova Ray, and I used to work for the Galactic Empire. More specifically, I designed the power cores and weapons systems for their warships." Alina's eyes widened. "You're an Imperial scientist." "Was," Nova corrected, "until I realized what they were planning. The Empire doesn't just want control, they want total domination. Entire planets wiped out if they don't fall in line. I couldn't be part of that, so I defected." "Convenient story," Vega said, her hand resting on her sidearm. "Why help us?" Nova's expression hardened. "Because I know how the Empire works. And right now, they're preparing something far worse than you've seen. If you don't stop them, Earth won't survive." Alex crossed his arms. "What are they planning?" Nova gestured for them to follow. She led them deeper into the lab, past rows of advanced machinery and glowing consoles. Finally, she stopped in front of a massive holographic display. With a few taps on a console, an image appeared, a blueprint of a colossal Imperial weapon. "This," Nova said, "is the Helios Array. It's a planet killer, capable of wiping out entire solar systems in one strike." The Empire's flagship was just the distraction. They're building this array in a hidden sector, and once it's complete, Earth will be their first target. The crew stared at the hologram in stunned silence. "How do we stop it?" Alex asked, his voice steady despite the weight of the revelation. Nova tapped another console, bringing up a schematic of the Titan. "Your ship is advanced, but it wasn't designed to take on something of this scale. That's why you're here. I can upgrade the Titan with tech the Empire doesn't even know exists. But it'll be risky." "What kind of risk?" Alina asked. Nova pointed to the Titan's power core. "The upgrades will amplify your core's output, but they'll push it to its limits. One mistake, and the core could go critical. It's a one-way ticket if you're not careful." Alex looked at the schematic, then at Nova. "If it's our only chance, we'll take it. How long will the upgrades take?" "Not long," Nova said. "But there's one more thing you need to know. The Empire knows you're alive, and they won't stop until you're destroyed. While I'm working on your ship, you'll need to keep them off our trail." Vega raised an eyebrow. "And how do we do that?" Nova smirked again. "By turning the hunter into the hunted. I have a plan, but you'll need to trust me." Alex exchanged a glance with his crew. Trust was in short supply, but they were out of options. "Do it," Alex said finally. "Prepare the upgrades. We'll handle the Empire." Nova nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Then let's get started. The fight for Earth isn't over yet." The turning tide. The Titan hummed with new energy, its systems alive in a way the crew had never seen before. Nova's upgrades had turned the prototype into something entirely different, a weapon no longer bound by Earth's limitations. Every console glowed with alien efficiency, and the ship's AI seemed more aware, its responses sharper and faster. "Upgrades complete," Nova said, stepping back from the Titan's core interface. "Your ship is now capable of taking on the Empire's fleet. But remember, this power comes at a cost. Push the core too far, and you'll turn the Titan into a bomb." Commander Alex Carter stood at the center of the bridge, his gaze fixed on the holographic map Nova had provided. The Helios array loomed in a hidden sector of the galaxy, heavily fortified by the Empire's most advanced ships. "This isn't just an ambush," Alex said, his voice steady but grim. "It's a suicide mission if we don't play this right." Nova folded her arms. "That's why you won't be going alone." The crew turned to her, eyebrows raised. "I've been preparing for this day," she continued. "There's a network of resistance cells scattered across the galaxy, species who've suffered under the Empire. If we can rally them, you'll have a fleet at your back." "Rally them?" Lieutenant Vega said skeptically. "We barely escaped with our lives. Why would anyone risk standing with us?" Nova smirked. "Because I've got leverage. The Empire's reign isn't as stable as they want you to believe. If we hit them hard enough, we can prove that the Titan isn't just a prototype. It's a symbol of resistance." Alex nodded. "Then we hit them where it hurts." "What's the plan?" Nova tapped a console, and the holographic display shifted to a heavily fortified Imperial outpost. The Sentinel Station. It's one of the Empire's key command centers in this sector. If we take it out, it'll disrupt their communications and give the Resistance a chance to mobilize. "And what about the fleet protecting it?" Vega asked. Nova grinned. "Leave that to me. I've programmed a few surprises into the Titan's systems. Let's just say the Empire won't know what hit them." The assault begins. The Titan emerged from hyperspace near the Sentinel Station. The Imperial command center hung in the void like a predatory beast, its spiked architecture radiating menace. Surrounding it was a fleet of destroyers and fighters, each armed to the teeth. "Enemy fleet detected," the Titan's AI reported. "They are aware of our presence." "They don't waste time," Alex muttered. "All right, Vega, weapons online. Harris, prepare countermeasures. Elena, keep an eye on the core. We can't afford any surprises." As the Titan charged forward, the Imperial fleet scrambled to intercept. Fighters swarmed like angry hornets, their weapons lighting up the darkness. The Titan's turrets roared to life, cutting through the first wave with deadly precision. "Shields at 70%, Harris called out. "They're focusing fire on us." "Good," Alex said with a smirk. "Let them." Nova's upgrades began to shine. The Titan's adaptive AI redirected power between shields and weapons, anticipating enemy maneuvers with uncanny accuracy. Plasma torpedoes detonated in brilliant explosions, ripping through the Empire's formations. But the Empire wasn't backing down. The Sentinel Station itself began to fire, massive beams of energy tearing through space. One blast clipped the Titan's side, sending the crew reeling. "Shields down to 42%, Harris shouted. "Another hit like that and—" "Not today," Alex interrupted. "Nova, is it ready?" Nova's voice crackled over the comms from her station in the lab. "The disruption pulse. Just give the word." "Now," Alex ordered. The Titan's hull shimmered as it unleashed a burst of electromagnetic energy. The pulse raced through the battlefield, short-circuiting enemy systems. Fighters spun out of control, crashing into each other, while larger ships momentarily lost power. "Direct hit on their systems," Vega confirmed. "They're vulnerable." "Let's finish this," Alex said. "Target the station's core." The Titan's main cannon charged, its glow brighter than before. Elena's voice came over the comms, tense but steady. "Core temperature rising. Commander, if we fire at full power, we'll only get one shot," Alex said. "Do it." The Titan's main cannon roared, a beam of pure energy lancing through the void. It struck the Sentinel Station dead center, piercing its core. For a moment, the station seemed to freeze, its lights flickering wildly. Then, with a deafening explosion, it erupted into a massive fireball, taking several nearby ships with it. Cheers erupted on the bridge, but Alex raised a hand to silence them. "We're not out of this yet." "Vega, status." "Enemy fleet is in disarray," she replied. "They're falling back, but reinforcements could be on the way." Nova's voice chimed in. "They won't be. I've intercepted their distress signal. The station's destruction severed their command chain. The Empire won't recover from this quickly. Alex exhaled, a faint smile crossing his face. Then it's time to rally the resistance. A new hope. As the Titan regrouped, messages began pouring in from resistance cells across the galaxy. Species that had been too afraid to fight were now answering the call. A fleet of patched-together ships, each representing a defiant world, began to assemble. On the Titan's bridge, Alex stood with Vega and Alina, watching the fleet gather on the display. "We've done the impossible," he said, "but the hardest fight is still ahead." Nova appeared on the comms, her expression unreadable. "You've taken the first step. The Empire knows you're a threat now, and they'll stop at nothing to destroy you. The Helios array won't wait forever." Alex nodded. "Then we don't wait either. Prepare the fleet. We take the fight to them." As the Titan led the growing resistance fleet toward the final battle, a new hope burned in the darkness. Humanity had been underestimated, but now the galaxy would see what they were truly capable of. Victory at a cost. The Titan drifted at the center of a growing armada, a patchwork of ships from countless worlds once oppressed by the Galactic Empire. Even from the bridge's viewport, Commander Alex Carter could see the signs of rough repairs and salvaged parts on every vessel. Yet there was also hope in that ragtag fleet, hope that had started with the Titan's defiance and spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Lieutenant Vega finished transmitting final coordinates to the Allied ships. "All squadrons in position, Commander. Everyone's standing by." Alex nodded, crossing his arms. Any word on the Empire's movements? Harris, hunched over the communications console, glanced up. They gathered a massive fleet near the Helios array. "Our scouts report countless destroyers, carriers, and battleships. It's bigger than anything we've seen." Dr. Alina Reyes stepped onto the bridge, her face lined with worry. "And the array itself?" she asked quietly. Harris tapped his screen. "It's almost operational. Nova says once it's fully powered, it can fire a beam strong enough to obliterate entire star systems." A tense silence fell over the crew. The Titan had pulled off impossible victories before, but the Helios array was no ordinary weapon. They would have only one shot at taking it down. Alex inhaled, steadying himself. "Bring Nova online." A moment later, Nova's holographic form appeared at a small console near the captain's chair. She was back in her exosuit, the glowing lines on her arms pulsing with energy. "Commander," she said, voice calm but urgent, "the Helios array's defenses are immense. You'll need to split the fleet, one group to engage the Imperial warships, the other to target the array's power relays." Vega frowned. "That's a big risk. If we divide our forces, we might not have enough firepower to protect the Titan." Nova's gaze flicked between them. "We don't have a choice. The array must be destroyed before it charges. Otherwise, even this entire fleet won't stand a chance." Alex looked around at his crew, Vega, Harris, Alina. Each wore the strain of countless battles, yet their eyes burned with quiet resolve. "We do this together, or not at all. Patch me through to the fleet." Harris pressed a button, and the comms clicked. The murmurs of the Allied captains, pilots, and commanders fell silent as Alex began to speak. "This is Commander Alex Carter of the Titan. We stand on the brink of a new dawn. The Empire believes they can crush us with fear and brute force. Today we prove them wrong. Our mission is clear: disable the Helios array and drive the Empire from this sector. For our worlds, for our families, let's show them what unity can do." A roar of agreement echoed over the comms. Alex cut the transmission and sat back in his chair, set course for the array. The final battle. Moments later, hundreds of ships burst from hyperspace into the heart of enemy territory. The Galactic Empire's fleet waited like a coiled serpent, lined up in deadly formation, before the looming silhouette of the Helios array. The massive structure glowed with ominous energy, ringed by spires that crackled with arcs of power. "Allied forces, engage," Alex ordered. Instantly, the battle erupted. The Empire's warships opened fire in a dazzling onslaught, and the Allies responded with everything they had. Explosions lit the darkness. Sparks from colliding energy beams danced across star-studded space. "Commander, the Helios array is powering up," Harris shouted. Nova's voice rang out. "Focus on the power relays. If they go down, the array can't fire." The Allied fleet broke into two groups, one drawing the bulk of the Empire's ships away, the other racing toward the colossal weapon. The Titan led the charge, weaving through a torrent of laser fire and missile explosions. Its newly enhanced shields sparkled under the onslaught, but even they wouldn't hold forever. "Vega, target the nearest relay station," Alex yelled. Vega locked on, and the Titan's main cannon flared. A searing beam tore through one of the array's spires, triggering a chain of secondary explosions. The surrounding Imperial ships scrambled to protect the other relays, intensifying their barrage. Core temperature rising. Elena warned over the din. "We can't fire again without risking a meltdown." Alex clenched his teeth. "We'll have to rely on the fleet." Sacrifice and triumph. Across the battlefield, Allied ships struck the array's remaining spires in desperate hit-and-run attacks. The Empire fought back with merciless precision. One by one, friendly ships vanished in bursts of flame, but they pressed on, refusing to give ground. Meanwhile, the Titan tore through a wave of enemy fighters, forging a path to the array's central control hub. Inside, a spiral of raw energy swirled, the final stage before the weapon fired. Nova's hologram flickered on the bridge. "We're out of time. Once that countdown hits 0, the array will release a beam strong enough to vaporize everything in this system." An alarm blared, and Harris exclaimed, "Commander, we're reading a massive power spike from the array." At that moment, a hulking Imperial dreadnought charged straight at the Titan, its main guns blazing. The ship's beams slammed into the Titan's hull, rocking the bridge and plunging everything into red emergency lighting. "Shields are failing," Vega shouted. Alex gripped the railing. "Nova, can we overload the Titan's cannon for a single shot?" Nova's expression was grim. "Yes, but the risk is worth it," Alex finished. "We have no other way. If we don't destroy that core, Earth is finished." Dr. Elena Reyes scrambled over to the power console. "I'll try to stabilize the surge, but we'll only have seconds once we fire." "Understood," Alex said. "Everyone, brace." The Titan's power core glowed white-hot, making the whole ship vibrate. Bulkheads groaned under the strain, and sparks showered from overloaded panels. Then, with a thunderous roar, the main cannon unleashed a blinding beam of energy. It cut through the dreadnought in a single stroke, passed beyond, and struck the Helios array's central control. A split second of silence followed, and then the array began to implode. With a deafening crack, its core detonated in a chain reaction. Sections of the massive structure tore away, hurling debris in every direction. Imperial ships, caught in the blast wave, erupted in bursts of fire. On the Titan, consoles flashed warning after warning. Elena screamed over the alarms, "Core meltdown imminent. We need to eject." Alex slammed his fist on the comms. "All hands, abandon ship. Repeat, abandon ship." Crew members scrambled for escape pods, launching into the chaos. The hull glowed under extreme heat. Alex guided the last of his crew into the pods before climbing into one himself, heart pounding. The Titan, once Earth's last hope, drifted away, its overloading power core on the verge of destruction. As the escape pod shot clear, the Titan exploded in a brilliant supernova of light, an echo of defiance that lit the battlefield. Aftermath and a new dawn. When the blinding flash faded, the Helios array was gone. The Empire's surviving ships retreated, leaderless and broken. One by one, the Allied vessels picked up the Titan's escape pods. Cries of relief and grief mingled as they realized the mission had succeeded, but at a heavy price. Hours later, Commander Alex Carter and his crew stood on the bridge of an Allied cruiser, gazing out at the wreckage. Tears welled in some eyes, while others simply stared in stunned silence. Nova, projected in a flickering hologram, lowered her gaze. "You saved the galaxy from the Helios array," she said softly. "The Empire won't recover from this easily." Alex nodded, his voice heavy. "We couldn't have done it without the Titan. Or you." Nova managed a sad smile. "The fight isn't over. But Earth, and every world that stood with you, now knows the Empire can be beaten." Elena stepped forward. "What happens next?" Alex looked out at the stars beyond, where the Allied fleet was already regrouping. Some ships lent, others were barely functional, but all shared the same sense of victory and a new beginning. "Next," Alex said, "we rebuild. Earth becomes more than a backwater planet. We stand united with our allies, ready for whatever the galaxy throws at us." In the distance, a final burst of starlight marked the Titan's funeral pyre. Though the ship was gone, its legacy burned brighter than any star. A symbol that once overlooked Earth had risen to challenge the greatest empire in the galaxy, and won.